You'll have two games. You're going to start today with JDXL versus Verdant, and then we'll take upon Nuriki versus Domino. But for that, we have a pre-show for you guys today. Even though we're inside of our houses, we still have a pre-show. We're looking good. My name is Asher, and I'll be your host. I have Tom Kick and Eragon. How are you doing, Tom? To start things off.
I'm doing great. It's lovely to be back here now also for playoffs with two really exciting back-to-back series today. So I think it's going to be really exciting.
It is. Eragon, how are you feeling?
I just got to say the exact same things. I'm really excited for these games. I love these teams. I've been prepping for them all day. So you know what? I'm super excited.
Okay, interesting. I really like when you say like I've been prepping all day because I know there's something spicy coming up. So let's see how it goes after in the show. So let's talk about how the group stage ended. We need to know the teams that made it into knockout stage. So let's look into the group stage and how it was done. We had a lot of teams coming in with 6-0. As soon as there you go, JDXL, Dusty, Natives. This is interesting. We'll talk about that later on. Riddle, Astralis lost one, and Bifrost. So these are the teams that win 6-0. And it's important to highlight that X7 lost a game on Group E. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Nuriki also lost a game on Group C, but they had an interesting group as well. So my question for you guys, before we jump out of this layout, I would like to talk a little bit further on this one. Eragon, is there any surprise for you from the groups?
Honestly, the biggest surprise to me from this group was the stark differences in difficulty in some of them, right? So my favorite group was actually Group D because my favorite team, Natives, just rolled them so hard they could even troll and they just didn't drop a single game, right? But then you take a look at Group B and it was so unbelievably stacked. So that was definitely my favorite surprise going in.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, I gotta say, like also with Group B, like being able to cast that and looking at Blade Edge actually taking games of Verdant and Unique, it was such an entertaining day. Overall, also, I think Group C is really exciting because of its Niriki versus Team Singularity. The only group with two First Division teams that made it out is in Group E that M&M actually didn't make it. Only two First Division teams not making it overall.
Before we advance, I would like to highlight teams like Hydras that made it into second spot, even though they came in as closed qualifier. Chaos as well from Division 3. Raid Gaming was on a second division. With 42 Gaming, for instance, alongside with Ruddy. We're going to talk about that team later on. They came in from closed qualifiers as well. So we have a lot of teams that surprise teams from Division 2 out of all divisions to make it into knockout stage. So it's you don't know what to expect, but you gotta be careful when you move into this stage. Best of 3, everything can happen. It's not a best of 5, so you don't have as many mistakes as you think you're gonna have on. So let's talk about teams that surprised us. For instance, I was talking about a few teams. I'll bring my own team. I'll start with Roddy. I was the first one to pick, so I got lucky. It all starts with the CEO, the one and only Don Jake. He made the most flamboyant interview of my life, and so far, that was a way to showcase the true spirit of this team. And when we started the groups, everybody was talking about Rifty on the top lane, which is one of the most interesting top laners of the tournament. And this English beast was a menace with his Gnar, obviously, but he has been capable of piloting other champions as required by the team. And then you look into the jungle, Shafty was also able to keep up with the enemy jungler to know where he was, give that information to his own team, and that allowed the mid laner Cronen to bring and use those power picks, the Corki and the Azir. Not gonna lie, Corki is a cool pick, but not for this meta. Azir is the one and only. I really like when Cronen picks Azir, and he has more to his disposal, to his arsenal. So I would like to see him on more of those picks. Then you go into the bot lane, and they have Latch. The thing with Lash is, isn't any carry to be feared, but I do believe he's still searching for his Darwin award inside of the game because he always puts himself in positions where he shouldn't be. It's a dangerous AD carry on both, you know? It's a double-edged sword. I can kill you and I can die while doing so because I have no love for my life inside of the game. So I wouldn't say this is a team that, in my opinion, can go into semifinals or even finals. I think this is a team that is going to be surprising. But if you make the mistake of not respecting them inside of the game, this team can pretty much take every single team in the tournament. So this, to me, is my surprise of the tournament. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but let me know.
I think it's an interesting take though. They went 3-3. I think they can make stuff happen, but we all know who's the real dark horse who's going to show up and make some noise in the brackets.
Okay, tell me.
It's
is
going to
it?
be Chaos, of course. Now, and when you look at a group, and that's like one of the most exciting. I didn't mention it when I looked at the group because I want to do it now. There was 2 first division teams, and everybody's like, yeah, for sure, X7 and M&M is going to go out of this group. But Chaos, they show up, they take down M&M, and they take the second seed into playoffs there. And I think they've been doing so great. You know, all the known players for the Norwegian guys, Kulberg, the weak side king, just got masters now after being hardstuck diamond in 6 years. So he's gonna pop off in this playoff. It's Masterberg time. Sharp, the mastermind in the jungle, taking control over the whole game with his genius macro. Sandhya, the mechanical god in the mid lane. You will not be winning 1v1s against this guy because he will kill you all the time. Bot lane, certified random, the young prodigy of the team, where the average age is about 25 years. Certified random is there to keep the cool and the age gap below 23 in average. And Eski, who doesn't need any title because his gameplay would just speak for itself. He's just a menace on the support. What else is there to say?
I'm almost convinced. I still believe in my team.
No, he's convinced me. He's convinced me. I casted
You
this team, but
convinced
I wasn't high on them, and now I'm convinced. Okay, I think you can tell me anything. Holy moly!
So wait, he sold you on Chaos, but I thought you had a team of your own.
He sold me on them being second place.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, second place.
Hit
But
me
my
up.
team. Okay, let me pitch you this roster. Okay, Lundorf, Sniller, Reilly, Clocks, and Yoppa. Okay, not a single player on this team has any individual flaws. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. These players are cracked. And then you take a look at their champion pools. Okay, I'll just put a draft out there that they drafted. They had Zillion top lane, mid lane Aurelian Soul, and Silas support in that group. And they rolled the game still. They went 6-0 and didn't drop a single game, had happy, fun games, and didn't struggle at all. This is why they're my dark horse to win the entire thing, alongside having huge synergy because they've been together since like last split, right? So they've had time to gel. They're really, really damn good, and I think they might win the whole thing.
I'm sold on that one. I was already sold when you said natives. Like, yep, natives is natives. I think they're the dark horse of this tournament, and if there's a team that can go into finals, I do believe it's natives. But it's always good to showcase other teams, and we got Chaos, natives, and Roddy on the desk. I don't know, you guys at home, what is the team that you're looking for the most? Teams that are not on Division One, okay? Don't bring me the JDXL, don't bring me the X7, don't bring me the Dusty. I mean, Dusty is Riddle. Okay. It had to be. It had to be done. But tell me on the chat, who do you think is going to take it? Like the dark horse of the tournament, if you agree with Aragon, Tom Kick, or me, or why is Natives going to win the Aurora Open? Moving on, we have a game before the first one of the day, before JDXL take on JDXL take on Verdant. We're going to be talking about Nuriki versus Domino. It's going to be the second game, so we're going to use this opportunity to talk a little bit about these two teams. So I want to understand how can a team from Division 2 versus a Division 1 actually win on the best of 3? So with that in mind, I would like to go. Where should we go? Where should we start, guys? Should we start with the mid lane, maybe?
I like the mid lane. I think that's a really good place to start.
Yeah.
We have some background history in that. It's really exciting. You see here, Zero versus Energy, 2 Norwegian players. So of course I got to pick that matchup. They played each other in the Norwegian Championship finals, where Energy on Riddle and Zero on Urban. Energy taking the win 3-2, and with this kind of champion pool, where a lot of people would actually say that Zero was the one performing the best in the series, while he are playing champions like the Silas, like the Akali, and Zoe, which spices things up a little bit. Now, Energy, on the other side, has the Ari, the Azir, and the Shared on both the Victor. He's a lot more controlled mid laner. He wants to be able to scale, he wants to take control over the laning phase, and then transition into a safe mid to late game with the team. But Zero, on the other hand, he wants fist fighting. He wants a strong jungle mid duo to be able to just go on to Energy all the time. But then again, is the veterancy with Energy enough to keep the rookie Zero down? Or is this the time where rookie Zero shows up and really takes his stand in the international scene with Domino on his side?
It's an interesting take, and I'm going to approach you on this one, Aragon. The fact that you have Nuriki mid laner energy is looking for the Ari 4 times
Mm.
out of 5 times, and out of 6 times. So my question to you is: do you think his champion pool hasn't been breached yet, and he's saving that champion pool? So when he needs, he can bring it up because that's a lot of Ari. That's a
It
lot
definitely
of
is.
Ari, and you might think like, "Oh, we ban Ari, we're comfortable." Do you think he's still hiding something?
Ooh, okay, so my opinion is very different from Tom Kicks. That's very
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
Okay, so if there was a player from Nariki I'd flame, it would be Energy, right? So very different takes. I think Ari and Azir might be crutches for mobility.
Mhm.
I think that Energy has shown susceptibility in being ganked early, and I'm concerned in this matchup. Actually, I think Zero is very good, so we'll have to see, right?
Okay, now that is an interesting take. I wasn't expecting that one. Aragon saying if I had to flame someone, I'm like, wait, Aragon? No. So this is the take into the mid lane. Once we see these two teams playing, let's see if Energy is capable of dealing with Zero or the other way around. And obviously the junglers take a big part of that one, and that's specifically why we're going to ignore them. Okay, chat? We're going to ignore the junglers. We want to look into the bot lane. We were talking about what to bring for these two teams, and I said, I want bot lane. I want Fadeski and I want 2 axes specifically because look at this. This is so interesting. CS difference at 10 minutes. Fadeski 5.8. He's so good at
Wow.
farming. 2 axes. Farm is what? Farm doesn't give me gold. Kills give me gold. That's why he has 49 kills, 25 deaths. He almost has as many deaths as kills from Fadeski. And why do I want to bring this up? Because Fadeski at the end of the summer split for Nuriki was the AD carry that was the sub and got put in on the main team. And everybody was questioning, can Fadeski rise to the mountain and actually be what Nuriki needs him to be? First game, he got a lot of kills. Everybody was shouting his name. Fadeski, who is this kid? Second game, we made the question, is he going to be capable of doing it yet again? And he keeps doing it every single time. He's one of those players that if you ever see him as a free agent at NLC, you got to take him. 2X's on the other side, he doesn't care. He doesn't care if there's minions, he's going for your face. He doesn't care if there's like 5 people in front of you, he's going to gale force in front of you. He's just going to try and kill you. This guy's aggressiveness incarnated. So I want to hear your takes after I painted the picture. What do you feel about these stats? Because they do present a picture.
Yeah, I think this really like fits the picture of the mid laners. Also, you see like the control on the Riki, a more aggressive side on Domino. So I feel like a lot of these on the matchups in general for the teams are gonna be decided in the early game. Can Domino with their aggressive players actually get leads through the early game because they want a fist fight, they want to get those kills, or are Niriki gonna be good enough to keep them back on the other side? 2 axes, with the name Draven main, he has nothing else than fighting. He needs to see blood.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree with the same thing. I think there's a reasoning for this, right, though.
Okay.
To me, Nariki comes off as a team with a very clear game plan, right? So very often what happens is Lulus just clears bot to top and then abandons bot lane and island. What they draft is a hyper carry bot lane who just farms with some kind of peeling support that allows them to play weak side stuff like Thresh and Braum, which means they're probably not going for that damage all the time and trading becomes a bit suboptimal, but they do that very well. I am a massive fan of Fateski. I think he's a top 2 player on this team, and I'm really looking forward to see what he brings against 2 axes aggression.
I love this. We're painting a picture and we just need another color. So let's look into the top lane to learn about the champion pool and the differences between these two top laners from each individual team. Nuriki and Domino. We're looking at Ramuka and Spooder. Okay, so it's interesting. And now Action's face is not upside down. That's the way the avatar is like, by the way. I highlighted, but I was corrected because apparently Action is just doing a 360
Yeah,
no scope.
he's landed his hook shot. He's spinning around. That's all that's happening right now.
Exactly. That's exactly what is happening. You look at this. And you look at one side on Nuriki, and you feel okay. You can adapt. You can go for the tanks. You can go for the range top laners, which is horrible. But he has more into him. Spooder, yet again, aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. But if needed, he can play the Yorn. So before I talk about the big picture, Eragon, you're the top laner coach. So guide me through this, and why is this so important?
Okay, so there's going to be a lot of action top lane. Both of these top laners have shown they can counterpick and use it really effectively. Something that's not highlighted on this graphic, which is a shame, is that Olaf in solo queue for Ramuka is also a really high priority pick for him. He plays it a lot. And on top of that, so does Spooder. On top of that, he's picking it in competitive, right? So it might have a lot of priority this series. I'm gonna be real. If I played against Ramuka in competitive solo queue, I'd be terrified. This guy's champ pool makes you not want to play top lane. Darius, Aurelia, Akshan, like these are just the epitome of the most annoying champions you could possibly face. And he has been putting the team on his back every single damn game. If he loses lane, the team struggles a little bit unless they have Fateski to back them up. So what you'll see in various clips and highlights of their games is Fateski and Ramuka just 2v8ing every single team fight.
So this brings me to something, Tom Kick. I've been trying to build up a narrative, and I'm going to allow you and Eragon to talk about this before we move on to the next match, which is going to be the first of the day. So far, every single lane from Domino is about fist fight, skill checking, going aggressive non-stop. Nuriki have been playing on NLC Division 1 for a long time. Obviously, we have a few new members, but the idea still remains. They have the experience. They know what to do. It seems like Domino will try to get into this game and just go for their faces, go for with the knuckles raised up. Domino, not Domino, but Nuriki, what do they need to do to survive Domino's aggressiveness?
When you look at these teams and you look at Niriki, what do you do to stop the game? You look at the junglers who have proactivity in the early game because you have the scaling mid laners, you have the scaling bot laners. Okay, and if you also want kind of fist fighting in the top side, you need an early game proactive jungler who can help around the map and cover for the lanes, and especially fight the 2v2. If you have the stronger 2v2 and you're able to cover for your lanes, Niriki has a very good chance of getting through the early game. And when you look at the stats and what goes after that, they'll slowly snowball the game.
So that brings the question, Aragon. What do you think is going to happen on this best of three?
Okay, so I think if Nariki go in from last week at the same level as Domino from last week as well, I think Nariki will come out on top. But I need Energy to step it up. If you look at all their games, why they lose leads early game is because Energy is getting ganked by either the support or the jungler. So for the side of Domino, I want them to draft early game roaming supports potentially and aggression junglers. Right, Omul Finn has shown he's very good at being proactive early game, and I need the side of Nariki Energy to step it up, avoiding these ganks or for him to be shadowed as well. I think that's incredibly important. On top of that, just keep their plan the same. They're really good at playing topside, so just keep doing it. It's working. Keep refining that.
So let's see what happens on that best of three because they need to adapt, they need to prepare, and it's going to be the second series of the day. The first one is going to be about JDXL versus Verdant. So let's look into this matchup. We still have 7 minutes before we jump into champion select. So that's why I want to bring this up. We can't dodge this bullet. JDXL at the... I see your laugh. I see your laughing, Tom Kick. I know that smile. I know that smirk. JDXL at the end of the split went down in flames. They went into EU Masters, they went down in flames. Everybody was concerned about them joining out of the open. What is going to happen with this team? This is a good team, it's just not clicking, but they were able to get on the group, get first place as well. So, what is your feelings towards JDXL right now as they are?
I think it's really interesting though, because when you look at the group and the team in general, they got a 6-0, but I would also say they got a pretty easy group though, with the teams that they also have. So have we actually seen the level of JDXL? So now this is where the interesting thing comes from Verdant. They also look a little bit shaky, but also a harder group. So will things actually be able to match out and even out when they go head to head in this best of 3? Where they both are really crazy with the picks, with the champions to play. It could be really tense and quickly go to 3 games, and whoever can actually win this. We're not really sure what the level is.
With Aatrox alive, and I know you like it, Eragon, let's look into both top laners to understand what they play. One of those top laners is known by everybody, Kraz, and then you look into the other side, and he's also known. It's Petoska. KDA, big difference, but then damage, it's not that far away. So what is splitting these top laners?
Okay, so I will say, on one hand, you have Kryze, incredibly well-rounded. I'm convinced he could play everything. Okay, just some of the best laning on EU West. I think he's a fantastic top laner. You get Kryze on your team, you're winning top lane. On the other hand, I've played against Petoska, and he absolutely rolled me. He's incredibly good mechanically, but I would argue he has issues with champion pool. So we need to see how this will evolve in the series, right? Will he be banned out? Will he be able to mechanically be able to hold up to Kryze? Because that's why I highlighted this matchup. It's because to play against Kryze and win, you need a baseline level of mechanics, and I think Petoska has that. But does he have everything else required to beat him? All the macro, the champ pool, and stuff like this to back it up. That's my favorite part of this matchup.
I'm so happy you brought that up because I was thinking top lane is about champion pool, and once you have Torok on your side, it's either a positive or a negative thing. We still don't know. We're not sure of what Torok means in the world of League of Legends, but he could be able to take away Petosca game plan by removing those champions that he's so good at. But then it leaves us on the bot side, which is also one of the most important parts of JDXL and sometimes the weakest part of JDXL. Let's look into the AD carries to meet the players that are going to be on the bot side of the map. It's going to be Venzer and Tide. And if you look at this, that's a major difference. One actually plays AD carries. The other one is something else.
Yeah, I think you have to be a bit careful with this graphic though, because this was their second week's champ pool. Okay, in the first week he did play Kai'Sa in Misfortune, so it's not like he can't play it. I'd argue it's more that he's incredibly flexible, and maybe this flexibility might pinch Venzer. You know, maybe he's caught off guard because we have seen that Venzer. I don't know what's going on, but their bot lane is dying a lot to jungle ganks. Okay, and in general they're just giving up a lot of leads across the map. So maybe this off-meta cheese might work.
Makes sense. What about you, Tom Kick? What do you tell me about this?
This is where we see the genius in the champion pool, because we talked a lot about like on the top side. Because Kreis, he probably is the one with the highest champion pool on the top side. But then on the bot side, it's Tide bringing out all this weird stuff, all these unique champions that can really surprise JDXL. Like Tide is the one player who can actually make Kalista look like a weak side champion. Just farming the first 15-20 minutes of the game, and suddenly he's just popping off. Because he's just been farming on Kalista. It's like, wait, why is nobody playing around Tide? Why is nobody helping his Kalista? Well, he's just playing everything. You see the Soraka, the Seraphine, the Heimerdinger. What can you really do? But then on the other side, Venser, who's really aggressive, as Arshram also mentioned, can be the downfall, can be the up run for JDXL to really go through the early game. But then they need to not die level 3. Venser needs to keep himself alive. If he dies level 3, then these champions, if Tide picks any of these enchanters, will suddenly just get so much more impact on the game.
And one thing that I want to highlight about Vince, just to wrap up the bot lane, is the fact that he plays the Caitlyn nowadays, and the Caitlyn is now back in meta, which is so good for him, because he can actually keep some range away from the enemy. And that is helpful for Venzer because he doesn't need to go in, especially at level 3. And maybe that is going to be a saving grace. So these are the matchups we wanted to highlight. JDXL versus Verdant is going to be a best out of 3, where it's going to be the start off of the knockout stage as well as we head on to the Aurora Open knockout part, round 16, day 1. Gentlemen, we're about to go into Champion Select. So without any sort of information on how they're playing today, how they're feeling, I don't care about that. I just want to have your hot takes as well of how this is going to end, how many games, and what is going to be surprising between these two. Stomp Kick, I'm throwing you the hot ball to begin with.
I think it's really difficult. I think this is one of the most exciting first matches we have of the playoff. I think if JDXL are to win, I think it's going to be a top diff. If Verdant are to win, I think it's going to be a bot diff. Now, one of the interesting things are the crazy drafts. So I for sure think it's going to be 3 games. I'm pretty confident on that. I would assume Verdant actually are able to take a game because of their unique champ pool and because of their unique drafts. Actually might catch the Torok god himself with weird drafts off guard to be able to get this one win. Now, where it heads, I would give it a little bit of an edge to JDXL just because of the experience and the players itself.
Give me numbers, percentage-wise. You're giving an edge?
Ooh, yeah. I will give it like 60-40, so 60 JDXL, 40 Verdant. I would say it's actually pretty close. So
it's
one game to Verdant at least. Yeah, I think so.
You agree?
Such a hard
I
question.
like when people fight on the desk. Give it to me.
Okay. So I think in order for Verdant to win, they need to be able to take the lead that XL is giving to literally every single team early game and actually run with it. Because what's happening every single game is XL gives away leads and then manages to outplay from their terrible situations because they're so much better individually mechanically. I need Petosca, all these mechanical players to step up and manage to carry that lead through. And then I think Verdant can win, but I'm going to say XL win just to be safe. I think XL win.
Just to be safe.
Well, let's see it as we jump into the Champion Select right now for both teams. First game of the day, first game of the knockout stage as well. It's going to be JDXL versus Verdant. And would you look at this? It's not even the top lane. It is all about Tide, Seraphine, Heimerdinger on the other side. It's about removing what we know Morosco is god at, which is the Silas. Sejuani also joins the fray of the bands. Twitch is one of the AD carries that he's capable of playing with, and Surprise as well. But this leaves open Maokai, Aatrox, Yuumi. Everything is open.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is such an interesting start. As we talked about, like the bot lane, it's the experience there. You see the Maokai now getting banned. I would assume Aatrox, of course, is going to be a priority. Like when that champion is open, it's so broken. It's such a big champion. But then again, Petoska does have some good champions into Aatrox. I think he will be able to answer, but does he have the individual skill to match Christ? That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's going to happen is Petoska's going to whip out his counter picks. I think his options are Riven or Fiora. Realistically, Jace, Aurelia too. Honestly, his champ pool does really well into Aatrox, so I'd expect one of those. But it does look like it's going to be the Fiora as the go-to stable counter pick in the LPL and the LCK.
Now, do you pair it with Yuumi, for instance? Are you going for the wild card with the Graves in the jungle? So power farm, 2 AD already stacked up in favor of Verdant, which means we might get an AP bot lane. We might even get that Soraka once again. That would be a surprise. Now, for JDXL, do you lock in the jungle or do you lock in the mid lane? Because we know Morosco is still susceptible to a small champion pool, but they're going for the Lux and Caitlyn.
Yeah, that's really smart for him. Now you get a really strong combo with the Kate Lux. You have the early game, the pressure in the bot lane. And because Verdant is on red side, you only get that one pick now. So then again, JDXL can ban out the support picks because now you answer with the Ziggs. Ziggs really good on matching the waves in bot lane to be able to not give Caitlyn prio all the time. But now again, what do you match with the Ziggs? Because now you need to be able to either get a heavy engage if you want to play for the fights, but roaming. Touch loves to roam. He's really proficient on the champions that can get onto the map. And when you have a Ziggs who's good on the weak side, this is something you could do. But then again, will JDXL just take away the champions, or what will actually be open?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have to echo the exact same thing, right? So he just showed really good proficiency on stuff like Rakan, Alistar, Leona, Amumu, stuff like this. I think he's really excellent on it. But it does look like we're going to get mid lane bans. Ooh, I think they need a form of engage on the side of Verdant. I don't like if they don't have engage, because I think you need like at least one source of consistent engage, right? So I'm looking at stuff like the Nautilus. Yeah. Oh, it's banned out, right? So the pool is thinning, right? So your options are probably something like Amumu or Leona, right? Potentially.
I was thinking about the Leona. It makes a lot of sense for this team. You also have a way to proc it instantly with all those, like Graves and Ziggs are so good at procking the passive from Leona. It's so fast, you don't even see it. So this could be the other bet. Now it's going to be the Amumu. They're really afraid of that capability in the middle of the team fight. Let's see what side is going to pick, because I think they're going to pick for the support and leave open the mid lane for a counter pick for Sumi.
Now, what you also could do is go a mid laner, actually, that's just safe on the other side to be able to see more of JDXL side. Or you just go for the Blitzcrank.
yeah!
I love this. I love Blitzcrank on this patch has gotten a lot of changes. Now, could be flexed. I doubt it's going to be flexed. I'm pretty sure this is going to be touch Blitzcrank. And it's really spicy pick and a really good blow up mechanic with Ziggs because you deal so much more damage on the Blitzcrank now.
It was actually just picked at Worlds, right? It was just picked at Worlds. I can't remember what game it was, but they picked it into, it was Beryl. Beryl picked it at Worlds, and they absolutely destroyed. He had aiming hooks and kept pulling the Caitlyn Lux, because what they want to do is perma-push, right? So when they're perma-pushing, you pull them under tower, and they're dead, right? It's a really, really good answer. I'm loving it. So something I wanted to touch on is mid lane, right? And it does look like they're going for the Ahri. This is what I was going to say. What the teams at EU Masters and NLC Playoffs did was they just gave 50 bans towards Morozki. Right, because it was shown that when he's off these picks, like Ari, Silas, what was the other one? Akali. If you ban them, he's like a fish out of water, right? He's really uncomfortable. But it does look like they're going to give it over, and I'm a bit disappointed in that. You just got to look at what worked against them, you know, at E-Masters. The other teams did the hard work for you.
They were focusing on the bot side, and apparently they left mid lane open. Also with the Azir, which is also a great, powerful tool right now for Verdant. Sumi is going to enjoy this one. It's on the meta. We have the champions, gentlemen, so it's time to get those predictions now with more information. So is that 60-40 still alive, or are you giving a little bit of more points to Verdant or even JDXL? Give me that percentage.
I feel like this is gonna be able to showcase what level the teams are on. I feel like this is a draft Verdant can win on. I feel like if you win this game, it's through the bot side. It's the Blitzcrank clutch plays with catching out Venser, FGG, all the time. If they can't win with this bot lane, I think it's going to be heavily favored for JDX. So I'm going to root for Verdant in this game 1, actually.
I think XL have the tools to play early game. Okay, they have the setup mid lane with the volley bear and the Ahri, and then what they can do is bring that Ahri down to bot side too. I think they possibly could play, providing, like Tomkick said, Blitzcrank doesn't roll them before that can happen, right? I'm gonna vote XL, just to be on the other side of the fence, XL.
Okay, it's just to be on the other side of the fence, which means we have the game ready for you guys back at home. I hope you guys are ready to start off the knockout stage. First game of the round 16, day 1. JDXL versus Verdant. Division 1 versus Division 2. And we need to toss it to the casters that are going to take it upon the Summon's Rift. It is M-Test and Middle Cut. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello there, Archer. Thank you very much, mate. Yes, we are here, M-Test, ready for a Battle of the Brits between JDXL and Verdant. And coming into this one, I love how much sort of tension we're getting on the desk. It really feels like this matchup could go either way.
I mean, I love it when, as Arsham was saying, right? I love it when the analysts are not really agreeing with each other. They're kind of tossing points back and forth around. I will say, however, before we start the broadcast, before it started, I had the most stressful 10 minutes of my life. My pet rabbit actually bit my headset cable, so it broke. I had to find my old spare headset, which microphone actually worked. So now I'm rocking the double headset matchup. Middlecott, I'm ready for this best of 3. Let's go, man!
Just about by hook or by crook, you've made it here. But before we jump into the game, I want to talk about both the drafts that we've seen, because I think the feeling between ourselves as we were watching the desk go through that draft is that both sides, JDXL and Verdant, have really gone for compositions that are kind of archetypal, that really represent them well as we are jumping onto the Rift for the start of this series.
Right, I really like the point that you brought up, that Analyst Desk brought up as well. Verdant have really pushed in this tournament to be able to play through Petoshka, right? This guy is on this game on the Fiora, which is a known counter to the Aatrox. The thing is, though, Aatrox has been such a powerhouse in Worlds, in our tournament as well, right? So I'm just worried if that's going to be enough. Is Petoshka going to be able to carry this side of Verdant? Because there is a lot of pressure on him. On the other side, though, talking about JDXL, Fencer and FGG, they have a lot of pressure in this one. They need to be able to get so much lead with this Caitlyn Lux to bot lane that if they don't, Petoshka is going to be able to scale on the side lane. No one is going to really be able to match him, and JDXL won't be able to pressure as hard as him.
Yeah, the Caitlyn Lux lane can be quite pressurizing. Maybe Tide and Touch will want to break, maybe want to Kit Kat after a few minutes of having to face against them. But as Petoshka gets the level 2, that can go for a bit of an early trade onto Kryze. And we can talk about the Aatrox kind of dominating a few of these supposed counter picks from time to time, but Petoshka, hold on. Action in the mid lane there as FGG has been put in the bot side. Igniter will flash away, but he's followed by Touch, who will take him out, and well, Tide manages to flash away just in time. So in the bot side, JDXL already losing out.
You shook there by Touch, and I mean, it's just the thing that sure, you trade summoners, right? Touch and Tide, both burning all of their flashes and pretty much everything. But that's the pressure relief that you get when you get a hook going onto the Lux. Now Caitlyn Lux already lost so much pressure on this one, and Blood is going for Vence. He wants Blood, man.
Yeah, and I mean, well, Vence is not going to be able to get anyone else. Soul turns it around onto Tide, levels up the 90 caliber net, and doesn't quite get away. But Flawed is taken very, very low, and Dan will chase him down. Want to use the flash on that volley bear, so isn't able to take him out, but we are already getting a lot of action in the early game.
What are you allowed to see, right? That's what we expect coming out of these two teams. Vencer, obviously rocking the TP, same for Tide. They're gonna be able to get instantly back to base, but I kind of wanted to bring this up is that, sure, Touch, he has been known, right, on Verdant to be able to play these, he's not really known for laning with Tide, right? I mean, as soon as he gets his mobile boots, he's pretty much out of that bot lane, but so far in this lane, they've been able to kind of relieve some of the pressure that Caitlyn Lux does. I would say, however, though, if Tide doesn't get his lost shafter before like the first let's say 8-9 minutes of the game, it's gonna be really rough for him to be able to withstand this 1v2 pressure that he's gonna need to put up with, because Touch will be roaming a lot on this Blitzcrank.
Yeah, and well, it was a smart play here from Verdant. The Hex slash over the wall and Flawed there. Venza, well, you typically see him do these sorts of plays at level 3. He does hit level 3 and he is able to get a kill out of this situation, but honestly, the Caitlyn just shouldn't be there.
I mean, for sure, right? I mean, well played from Venza to actually be able to trade one back because he has the TP in his also, right? I think Tide was being a bit greedy there, wanted the assist or the kill or something like this, but in the end, it's gonna be a 1-for-2. Actually, yeah, FTG going down there in the earlier trade where Touch hit that crucial hook. And let's see now if the teams can start to be able to relax a bit. We obviously know that Petoshka is gonna scale to the roof on this Fiora pick, but as of now, he's currently struggling a bit in this only one matchup, I guess.
Yeah, he did take that sort of early recall to pick up the boots. Isn't having a very fun time. And down here, just to make sure that Kryze is actually going to be able to get this lane shoved in.
Unless,
yeah, there is the potential for the stun here. Petoshka still has the riposte available. JDXL not quite able to get in range of the Verdant top laner, but still he's falling heavily far behind in CS in a matchup that he definitely picked into us. In the bot lane, we are getting more action as FGG taking a fair chunk of his health bar, and Ignite drop down on his head of Flawed is here once again. Venza too far forward, chasing a kill onto Tide. He's able to pick it up, but like before, he will pay for it with his life. That's 2 kills now on the Graves in the bot lane.
once again, as you were saying, right, 2 kills on the Graves. Flawed is being really proactive in a game where I thought he would just be kind of full playing and trying to cover his lanes. But Roscoe, though, being proactive as well. Solo Kitsumi in the mid lane.
Yeah, just getting that level up mid-exchange and recognizes that he can go forward for the play. And now that means that you're going to be losing even more CS in that mid lane. If you are Sumi, you're already down a couple of waves. And these sort of mistakes in lane, these solo kills have characterized the Verdant mid laner a little bit during the Aurora Open group stage.
I mean, just speaking of the fact that you said, right, he doesn't have the TP. He used that earlier in the lane, and that just means that Roscoe's solo kill is going to have so much more impact. He's already now 12 CS up, got that kill under his belt, and this is kind of where I'm struggling to see what he's going to be able to play in the mid game, because sure, Petoshka, once he gets a couple of items under his belt on Fiora, he's going to be able to match both the Ari and the Aatrox, but you want to have Ziggs in the mid lane. You want to have the Azir in the mid lane as well. So who is going to catch those side lanes? I think it's going to be really hard for Verdant to answer that question going forward.
Yeah, and these natural laning advantages are coming through really across the map for JDXL. You can start to see a little bit of what the desk might have been alluding to, with there just being the difference between these teams coming out from Div 1 and these other teams that have had sort of more difficult, more interesting routes, I guess, to get to this Aurora Open round of 16. But as we stand at 7 minutes on the clock, 3 kills to 3, and the gold lead, whilst it does favor JDXL, not massive by any means.
Right, and I think this is one point that Analyst has talked about, and I mean, it's standard practice when you're playing the Caitlyn Lux, right? You want to be ahead in the early game. You don't necessarily have to take the tower first 10 minutes, but you want to have build up that CS lead, build up that pretty much some plates to be able to, if you can secure that Herald, to be instantly able to shut down that tower. Herald in this game, actually super important for both teams, right? If you get the Herald with the Ziggs, it pretty much just guarantees you quite a full tower, right? Same for the Caitlyn, who should be able to get some plays before that Herald spawns. And as we say that, the blue buff has been spawned on Verdant's bot side, and Dan, I mean, he's wasting no time and he wants this.
Yeah. But Petoshka actually fighting up with Kryze is going to be using the Grand Challenge on the Aatrox in the river. The World Ender has also been popped. That riposte doesn't really do too much, but Kryze is just protecting that last vital. Petoshka can't get the bonus healing, and that's a solo kill for the man in the top lane.
So solo kill for Kryze. I mean, you said it yourself, Millicott. He was standing next to the wall to make sure that Petoshka cannot hit that crucial last vital. He gets a solo kill, and this is gonna be, once again, you said it, right? There's pretty much the individual skill difference between some of these players, perhaps. I mean, Kryze obviously being such a huge part in JDXL's success, and while getting that solo kill, it's gonna enable him to keep pressure in that lane, and while it slows down Petoshka, JDXL is popping off.
Yeah, the solo lanes are really making it happen as Flawed dies as well. Not sure what the hell was going on there, but look, top lane at 2-0, mid lane at 2-0, Venza at 2-2, that's his own special version of the 2-0, but fundamentally, JDXL are winning everywhere.
Yeah, he is, right? I mean, Kryze, he doesn't just let Flawed. I think Flawed thought he could contest Kryze on this Herald, but Kryze, I mean, he still has the flash archer, he just gets a clean kill onto Flawed. And as you were saying, Millicott, I mean, the solo lanes on JDXL in this first game in the best of 3 really stepping up. And this is just a crucial part, right, of Verdant's comp. Petoshka on this Fiora, he has so much weight on his shoulders. Once his mid-game hits, he has to be able to put out pressure against JDXL, or I feel like the team is just gonna fall apart. And now
Yeah, it
when it
feels
gets
like-
something like that, it's hard.
It feels like maybe JDXL have got the stream open on like another monitor, because 2.5 minutes ago we were going, okay, well, Verdant are actually coming through this early game relatively even, but now they're down 2,000 gold. That Drake also going in favor of JDXL, so the early game advantages in terms of objectives and kills going towards the team coming down from Division 1. And we know that they can be this team that snowballs really, really well, although they have had a few hiccups in the group stage.
Right, so nothing. No one can say that JDXL are not skilled in both the individual aspect and the team aspect. Cloud now though, going for some sort of bot play with his bot lane, but Venser kind of knows this already. And while he gives up a plate and a wave, it's gonna be a good investment because Dan is just getting the Herald for free on the top side.
Yeah, a gold lead, early Drake, Harold as well. Things couldn't be going much better for JDXL as well. Venser being flashed hooked and taken out by Flawed. A third kill for the Graves, a potential win condition being built by Verdant, but the Graves is going to need a couple more kills before he can really contend with everyone else on the map.
But good reader from Verdant. They have to go for some sort of play like this, and they know that Dan is on that Herald. Dan though, kind of forcing Sumi out of the lane, and this is probably going to be kind of full mid tower already for JDXL.
Yeah, and that's bad at the, well, bad at the best of times, but when you are against a champion like Ari, who benefits so heavily from being able to roam, from being able to move around the map, losing that mid lane tower as your first tower at 10 minutes into the game, it just frees up so many playmaking options for JDXL.
I mean, you said it right. Having Aurora with already enemy mid tower down, super good for her, right? She can roam all around the map. If you look at the other side as well, you have two control mages in your team. These are two champions that really benefit from having that mid tower open. And already 11 minutes into the game, it's gone. That's so much safety away now from Verdant.
Yeah, the question of where to farm for Tide and where to farm for Sumi is going to become more difficult as the game goes on. If Verdant aren't able to net themselves similar advantages coming out of the board. And these mages, they do have a lot of power once you get to that first item, but we've already seen quite a few mythics actually completed here for JDXL. So when that Drake spawns in a couple of minutes, they are going to be heavily favored around that point. Dan is potentially setting up for a gank in the bot lane, but he has been spotted.
Oh, crucial cannon minion there, MVP for Verdant. And as you were saying, right, then they already got one Drake on JDXL. If they get another one, they're kind of forcing Verdant to be able to group up for the third one, which is not really what you're going to be wanting when you're playing that Fiora, you're playing that Graves and two control mages. This comp is basically just Verdant buying time for Petoshka, but right now they're not nearly in a position to do so.
Absolutely not, as Kreis is rotating down into the top lane, doesn't even need to use the TP as the ultimate used by Dan to turn off the tower, and Touch will fall down. Just a single kill for JDXL on the bot lane, but they're going to get a couple plates as well. Hold on! That's a solo kill from Rozq, third of the game for him. This Ari is really paying dividends.
Yeah, Atrox, Kreis and Morosco in this game, they're kind of cosplaying the Shy and Rookie back in the... and they're popping the hell off, man. They are getting multiple solo kills on the board. Pretty much a minion advantage all across the board. Sumi now, can he make a play on his own?
Yeah, Flawed has already been taken very low before the Azir can really contribute damage. Kreis being flash shuffled, but not in range of the tower. And with the Darky Blade, he can heal up a little bit. Verdant trying so desperately to take out the JDXL top lane, but tried, can't do it. Kreis somehow alive, but the Ziggs isn't. A play from Verdant goes horribly wrong, and they lose their bot laner.
For Christ, that has to be... that is so just disrespectful on his side. I mean, he got bumped in by a Sid shutdown. Sumi flashes in, try to just get the shutdown, right? It's so crucial. The big shutdown onto Kreis, but Kreis, I mean, he has the step movement, man. He has the step shoes on, and he came ready to play today.
Absolutely, as we're going to get a replay of this solo kill in the top lane. Tusker dead, Charm not connected, but I think Moscow just has too much damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's already that fed on the Aurora, right? Had a couple of kills already, and Petoshka obviously playing with that Ghost, doesn't have the flash. Now he gets the parry as well, but Morosco flash charms and he gets the kill onto Petoshka. So hard for Fiora to be able to put up any kind of pressure when she's this far behind already in the game.
Oh no, we come out of a replay of Petoshka dying. Straight back to live where, well, he's not alive anymore. Kreis with his fourth kill, and In game one, I think JDXL are really coming out with dominance. Nearly 6,000 gold in the advantage of 14 minutes. And that's going to grow in the next few seconds as these outer towers continue to fall.
Every single tier 1 now has fallen for Verdant. And Kreis, he's playing aggressive, man. He's finding himself in a 1v3 situation, but I don't even know if he's going to be able to die here.
Has access to the world ender. Hasn't used it quite yet as FGG is roaming over, but the shutdown comes through in time for Flawed. A little bit late on that button from JDXL's top laner. FGG should be fine to get out of here. It's gold going bad, that's great, but again, you need more of those plays to keep happening, as in the mid lane, you're losing structures.
I mean, they're losing, right? As you were saying, they tried to make a cross-buffer happening. They get a shot onto Kreis, which is good. I thought Kreis was immortal. I thought it was Superman, but he was not. He gets one shot by Flood, actually. So, nice pick up there from Verdant. But as you were saying, Milko, every time they try to make something happen, they just lose out on the other side. We were talking about how important it is to have your tier 1 up as control mages. Now their tier 2 is down as well. What are they gonna do? The question that you asked, that we asked, who is gonna farm what? That question is pretty much impossible to answer right now.
And now, for JDXL, you're in the lead, but you've been in similar positions like this before. The map, I don't really feel like it's ready for them to be as far ahead as they are, right? You're not really playing for Dragon Souls. Baron isn't going to be an option for another 5 minutes or so. So I think the key thing now, for the team coming from Div 1, slow down a little bit, sit on your lead, don't make any silly overextended plays like we just saw in the top lane that give gold back to Verdant.
For sure, right? Verdant surely has to find some sort of plan going forward. I mean, Flood is pretty strong on this Graves, but I'm not sure if it's enough Sumi. Okay, nice block from you, but Morosco, I mean, he's already, when you're this far ahead on the R, you become so much tankier as well. I mean, Flood level 9 compared to Morosco's level 12. It's impossible for him to win out on it only on.
Yeah, the magic resist from the Banshee's Veil just adding a little bit more value. And of course, we've got the Dark Seal as well, a core item, as many RE players would have you believe. I'm not sure if that's going to be transformed into a Medjai's anytime soon. Verdant here, they're still looking for plays with the Blitzcrank, with touch. This is what the champion can do. Really turn a game in an instant if one of those rocket grabs lands.
For sure, right? Blitzcrank is for sure one of these champions that, I mean, he can turn a game around, right? But when you're this far behind, when you don't really have, you can't really get any sort of vision control on the side of your team, it's so hard to be able to set up plays. Right?
That's an ambitious TP, but it's going to be successful as Sumi is already Zed. Venza will take out more, and, well, Verdant, they're able to claim the objective bounty off the tower, but they lose 3. Almost as Touch able to flash and overdrive himself away, but Morosco will be happy to chase him down. Dan comes over the wall, and the Orbital Deception grants the 6th kill to JDXL's mid laner.
Morosco is just a complete pop-up montage pretty much this whole game, as we were talking about so many times, as multiple solo kills, save for Kreis. I mean, he's pressured Patoshka so hard on this tier 2 tower already. We were saying how JDXL, they are kind of, sure, they have really strong laners in every single regard, but they were kind of known sometimes for Venser. Maybe they give up a couple of kills. As I said, though, I mean, they're ready this game. Venser only dies though.
Yeah, shutdown secured. That's the second one that Flawed's grabbed this game, but Verdant already so far behind that it's really difficult to make anything of that. Okay, Dan being shuffled back, and that's another kill being given over as FGG is in a bit of a dicey situation, but Morosco does so much damage. Flawed able to heal up with the Eclipse and get away as Verdant are still chasing for JDXL, and Sumi is going to be able to pick up the support and with those soldiers potentially take out Morosco, but the charm will land the flashback from the mid laners. A legendary kill for the Arias. Oh no, top lane's gone badly. Kreis forcing Patoshka away.
Tide teleport shot, this could be the 1k shutdown, the dream. The dream, let Tide have it, man. Come on, he needs this on that 6. Morosco has the ultimate up again though. No way he's gonna live through this one.
Keeps charging away, but the shutdown does come through. However, an Aatrox will now join the fray. No world ender, but a hell of a lot of damage. Touch already dead. The flash over the wall with a sweet spot of the Darkin Blade. Verdant splitting up to try and escape, but it will not be the case for Tide. Ebbing, flowing, falling into his doom as Venza will take him out with the ace in the hole, and Kreis continues the chase onto Flawed.
It's not done, man. I mean, Flood actually tries to turn this around a little bit. Sumi is able to join him pretty soon, but I mean, this is the kind of up factor when you're playing against such an individual skilled team as JDXL. Every single member of their own can kind of buy a lot of time, and that just enables Kreis there. We also got the straight rush up. to be able to get Christ teleport and get that double kill. And while Tide gets that insanely big shutdown onto Morosco, he is still very far behind.
Benza hooked and shuffled away. The Caitlyn has got very little places to go, but with the Gale Force forward, she would take out Touch, trading autos with Sumi. But not enough to get a second kill in that play. Getting a 1-for-1 there, definitely unexpected. But with the AD carry off the board, maybe Verdant feel like they can go for something around this Drake.
That's his build, like he has Hexlink already, he's going for that Bloodthirst now by the looks of it. It just, build looks really scuffed, but when you're this far ahead, I think Venta can pretty much build whatever. He still has 5 deaths on his plate though, and the weak side that Verdant might be looking to get an advantage of. They are gonna trade third Drake for the top lane tower. Tosha getting that's really crucial, but I mean, once again, you're kind of feeling that Verdant, while they're making some good plays, they're getting the shutdown goal, which is an objective you have to play around when you're this far behind. It's just so hard, once again, for them to be able to make any sort of practice plays of their own, right? They don't have the best engage on their team.
And whilst you do have a lot of scaling that can come from this top side of the Fiora Graves and the Azir, you have to feel like at least a little bit of Verdant is thinking, okay, what about game 2? Because this is a best of 3, remember? If you lose 2 games, you're out. You don't have that cushion as well. It's very difficult for Sumi to get out of that situation. Another kill going in favor of Morosco, and this is what we're talking about. There's very little room for Verdant to even maneuver towards the remnants of their old tier 2.
Yeah, I mean, Morosco can do pretty much whatever he wants in this game, and save for Christ, almost, and maybe he gets caught there by Touch.
Yeah, but he can heal up so much with the Darkin Blade in that world, and the number of 1v3s we've seen the JDXL top laner go for is pretty disgusting in this game, and well, it's not going to be a 1v3 for much longer as FGG is on the way up, and here comes Dan as well, chasing down Touch back into his own jungle. He's going to fly forward as well as the ultimate, the ace of the hold, not even needed. There's a lot of burst potential that can come up from the Graves, but when you're this far behind on the map, I don't think it's going to work out that well for you. Still trading autos with Dan, but as more members of JDXL arrive to the play, the Graves' life expectancy drops down to 0. And Potoska, we've seen this so many times before, taken out by Cries.
Tries to juke the Aatrox Qs there, but I mean, Christ, at this point, he can just, I mean, they can do whatever they want in JDXL, and they are gonna do that. They are gonna start up the Nashor, and Morosco, he just goes in for the 1v2 situation. He's gonna get that. So he lives.
Somehow. But I imagine not for much longer. Morosco really wants to turn his kills into the double digits as, hold on guys, Baron's taking damage by the way, and well, JDXL grabbed the big purple buff. It's very much felt like a formality, but as soon as the big purple worm joined the rift, it was going to be taken out by the blue side team, and 10k gold advantage. Baron on your backs for 3 minutes, Drake spawning in 3 minutes. That's going to be Mountain Soul. The way back into this game for Verdant is, it's almost non-existent, M-Test.
I mean, they have to dig really, really deep. I think they have to pray. They have to get some sort of miracle going. But in League, there are some miracles. I mean, we saw Gam win out over Team Esports. I don't know if you guys watched it, but that game was insane. And
maybe if Venza's Hex Drinker doesn't proc, that's a potential angle for Verdant. But I mean, well, when Ty's taking damage incidentally on that and dying in his own base, then really just becomes a little bit immaterial. That's a double kill from Roscu. Turn the kill column to double digits very, very quickly as Cries getting another kill. That was 4 dropping in the blink of an eye, and JDXL are looking to pick up game 1 in dominant fashion.
I mean, they are for sure just looking like the JDXL would all come to love and see. Venta has 5 deaths on the Caitlyn. It's a classic, but he doesn't care, man, about the KDA. He goes on to Verdant's Nexus, gets touchy in the end. And while we love the kind of flexible drops that Verdant are having, JDXL, they come out swinging in this game 1.
Yeah, Verdant will be hoping for greener pastures the next time that they enter the Rift, but it was the performance that JDXL would have expected to give in game 1. 23 minutes, grabbing the win.
And it's JDXL looking really, really clean. We talked about it, the solo laners of JDXL, Cries and Morosco, both getting multiple solo kills. I mean, in a game like this, when you're playing the 5v5 team, I mean, it's so hard to get back from that when both of your solo laners are struggling this hard.
Yeah, it was the frequency and the consistency of the plays. Well, our observer was bouncing all over the place because when JDXL were diving bot lane, well, you'd see Mrozq getting a solo kill on the top side of the map. It was just like there was constantly plays being made, and credit to Verdant, there were a couple of occasions where they tried to respond, but every single play seemed to just work out for JDXL.
Yeah, kudos to them, man. If they can keep up this for another one, I mean, it's really a lot of pressure now in Verdant's hands, but seeing how flexible they have been in the past, I think a team like Verdant can actually make a comeback out of this one. They have to dig deep and they have to come up with another plan, but I believe in them, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That draft creativity, that ability to adapt on the fly is going to be very, very important if Verdant want to take us towards Game 3. I believe that we are going to be chatting with our desk now. We had a bit of a bigger picture view of that game, and we'll see how it went down.